Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Thank you, Maxo. Yeah, this is Fever Dream by Crying Out. Thank you, Bell Bank, for being involved in the Power Trip Morning Show. And
Thanks, Bell Bank.
That's your bank, and that's my bank. It's our bank. And thank you to Cultivated CBD, cultivatedcbd.com, for sponsoring the Charge Challenge, where I am still finding a way to kick A-words. I can't believe how good I am at fantasy football.
Yes, you are.
And you had not a good week.
I did not. And
I did not.
James Cook, who I took.
He's an old pirate.
They had one inside the 5-yard line run, and they gave it to the other guy.
Yeah, that happens, man.
But they got behind. I mean, Derrick Henry, the first play for the Ravens was an 87-yard touchdown.
Unreal.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then that Ricard guy is like
Ricard.
he's a 300-pound fullback.
Massive
I know.
dude, yeah.
So as they said, you have 550 pounds of man coming at you.
Oh, my God.
Was it a 250-plus rushing yards back-to-back weeks?
He had
For the Ravens? I mean, just in general.
Yeah. Well, Derek had 199 on his own.
Oh, yeah.
God.
He took that one to the house. That was so sweet.
He's the
How
best.
can that big a man run that damn fast?
And he outran people. It wasn't like, he's the best.
Yeah, he outran cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And they beat the hell out of the Bills, man. It wasn't even close. Hi, Mussman.
Oh, what's going on, Hawk?
Good to see your face and hear your
Good to
voice.
see you, boys.
And, touch your bod.
Wow.
Yeah,
you touching his bod.
Do I get to pick the spot you touch first?
Not this time.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
A little potpourri.
You should wear like a twister board on.
And you know what? I'm not taking
and spin the wheel.
I'm not taking advice. I'm doing what I like.
Right hand blue.
Okay, everybody be cool.
Yeah, lawyer Lambert and I, we don't get to choose. We just take it.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
I got a text last night from the lovely and talented Mike Mussman, and he said, "Don't forget to remind me to ask Ben this question," and I'll read this out loud. Ben, me concerned.
Whoa. Whoa. You should learn how to
Upset
spell.
in beer garage. We okay? Question mark. That was from Mussman.
Mussy.
Yeah, I can't confirm and or deny that.
You don't remember sending it, do you?
Well, no. It's already garage beers.
You know, I understand everybody wants a man cave, but that was a true caveman test.
Unga bunga.
Yeah, right. So answer his
about
question, if you would, please.
Am I concerned? No, but I think the Packers found something in the second half, especially in the second half. I'm not sure that would really work in the first half, but if a team is able to stick with us, whether we can't score or whatever, the score is close in the second half, and the offense can show some tempo, I think that's a little concerning because we definitely got worn down.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the third quarter, we had a series where we got a turnover on downs, but the fact that they went tempo on us and sort of kept us on our heels and we weren't the aggressor, we couldn't set up sort of our pressure looks. We couldn't have that disguise of complexity or illusion of complexity, what everybody talks about. Like we couldn't get into that rhythm.
Or rotation of players, too.
Or rotation of players that really just kind of threw us off. And you saw our defense get a little bit worn down. And so that sort of bled into the fourth quarter. And I know that we had some takeaways in the fourth quarter, but we did not look like ourselves defensively.
Third quarter was the worst quarter I think I've seen in a long time for both teams.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just sloppy and gross. I mean, you had 4 combined punts. You had the interception. You also had a turnover on downs. I mean, it was just a gross third quarter. You're like, what just happened?
I know. That's the thing. Like, defensively, you look at it and like, well, good job, guys. Like, we had a couple 3-and-outs, and, you know, it seemed like the Packers came out of halftime with not much else. They didn't seem like they really made any adjustments, and we still were in control. But when you look at the totality of it with our offense, not looking great either, I agree with you. It's like, ooh, boy, this is kind of gross football. But yeah, to answer your caveman question there, Mus, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned by it. I just think that there are, I think, weaknesses to every phase of every team, and it looks like maybe our weakness, if an offense can pull it off, is just keeping the same personnel package that you find as the vulnerability. keeping that package on the field, don't substitute, and just go a high volume of plays back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Well, and I even asked you this in the pregame, and I know it's kind of like, okay, can everyone stop talking about this whole that the Vikings they're good in the lead, but can they come back?
Yeah.
Can they play,
the adversity
down?
bit, yeah.
Right. And they did obviously they still had the lead, but there was adversity that came up in that fourth quarter, and they were able to actually make enough plays to win the game. You're 4-0. You won on the road against the Packers. My God, if you started off the season and saw that on the schedule, there's no way you would have been like, oh, yeah, that absolutely is a win.
They just beat 3 straight playoff teams.
Right. Yes.
Like,
you're right.
I know, like, maybe the 49ers were banged up and the Texans maybe are a little bit of a paper tiger, even though they won yesterday. You beat 3 straight playoff teams. This isn't where you're like, we bet like a couple years ago when they were 13-4,
yeah,
and everybody was like, I don't get this team. They win every 1-score game. They get real lucky. This isn't that.
No.
As I've said 3 times today already, they're a muffed punt away from kicking the bejesus out of the Packers. And they've won 4. They're 4-0. And their quarterback has thrown 11 touchdowns.
Well, let me ask you this question, too, if you don't mind. And by the way, this portion of the Power Trip would be the news would normally be brought to you by our lovely friends at the St. Paul Saints. Thank you, St. Paul Saints. Can't wait till next year. SaintsBaseball.com. Can't wait to see what we do next. How hard is it as a football squad, as a football player, and I guess from what you've seen probably as a football coach, to keep your team motivated when you've kicked the crap out of them for an entire half? I know that's a weird question because they're professionals, but it looked like the team thought the game was over at halftime.
In this exact situation, I don't think it's hard to walk in the locker room at halftime and get the team riled up and ready to go and motivated, because you saw immediately the way that we entered the half with the muff punt and them scoring. It's like, look, guys, who do you guys think you're just going to like waltz out here, put a couple scores on the board, and they're not going to respond? Like, we've played this team multiple times, and we're in their environment, in their house. So I think it's easy in this situation, at least it was yesterday, to say like, guys, we can't rest on our laurels. We can't take our foot off the gas. Whatever phrases you want to put out there, it's like the proof is out there. We walked into halftime licking our wounds a little bit, like, oh man, like if we make any sort of mistake, they are good enough to capitalize on the mistake. And again, they came out in the second half and did the same thing. Just as like how we jumped out to an early lead is because we had 2 takeaways and we had 14 points off those takeaways. I mean, that is such a huge part of taking the ball away, and the turnover factor is like, that's great that you can create momentum and energy and take the ball away, but what are you going to do with it now that you have it? And our team's able, this short part of the season, especially in this game yesterday, to get the ball, and then our offense turns around and goes, no matter where we are on the field, we're going to score some points. And so as much as we can do that, you tell the team at halftime, like, they can do the same thing. They just proved it. So, don't think that you guys can walk out here the second half and it's going to be a cakewalk.
I got another text from Beer Me Garage.
Oh, let's hear it, please.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah. The one thing that might be a concern that I saw, again, this is at third quarter, but the communication all of a sudden kind of fell apart on both sides of the ball for the Vikings. So if you remember that series where we're in scoring position and all of a sudden there was a disconnect between Aaron Jones and Sam Darnold.
Oh, right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then immediately the back-to-back plays, then there was a miscommunication between Sam Darnold and I don't know if it was Jets or if it was Addison, that throw into the corner of the end zone. It's like, there's nobody there.
Right.
So that communication kind of broke down a little bit. And then also defensively, where you have Metellus and Byron Murphy switching from corner to safety and not real smoothly.
Right.
And it cost us a little bit there. That was the only thing that was like, okay, what happened to our communication here with the team? Because we've been playing complementary football for so much of this season already that was like, ooh, what's going on here now?
Yeah,
Beer Me Garage.
Yeah. No, I think those are great. I think those are great observations. I think that those are getting magnified because of the situations that we put ourselves in. And I'm not I think that those sort of miscommunications, they happen all the time. They unfortunately happen a lot. The one that pops into my mind, even when you have a salty vet that understands the offense in Kirk Cousins, when we were in Philadelphia and he throws an interception that he was going to Justin Jefferson in the end zone, that's a miscommunication between two great players.
Sure.
And it's like Justin didn't run the right route, didn't break the guy's leverage, and Kirk, through all the weeks of practice, was expecting him to cut across his face and break that leverage, and he didn't. And he throws the ball right to, I think, Darius Slay or something. And it's like, well, that's considered a miscommunication because you guys aren't on the same page. Same thing with it was Addison that was in the corner of the end zone, and Sam just sails the ball out and just like throws it out when he doesn't see he's running the right route. I mean, we had the same thing happen with Jalen Naylor last week when it was supposed to be a screen pass, like a tunnel screen. He's supposed to it looked like he was supposed to take that jab step and come back and run like a tunnel screen. And the second that Sam didn't see it, he dirted the ball on the ground.
Right.
Those things just sort of happen. I think they got magnified because of the magnitude of the game and the game situation of like, hey, come on, guys. Like, we can't be making these mistakes when Green Bay's coming back and we're just kind of clinging to those 6-point leads. So I see what you're saying, but I don't think it's really a cause for concern.
I think, Ben, one of the best things we saw in yesterday's game was they, instead of trying to go old school football and just run their 4-minute offense the second the third quarter started, they threw a lot, which did cost them because they had a bunch of 3-and-outs. They gave a lot of the momentum back to the Packers. But I thought that was, in the moment, you're like, what are they doing? Like, why are we throwing when we're up by 21? But after you process it and you look back on it, I think that mentality is the new school mentality where we're not going to run 3 or 4 times, maybe get a first down. We're going to go and throw the ball like they did on that one play when the Packers made it close and he threw that 17-yard pass to Jefferson where everybody in the stadium is like, they're just going to run the ball. I love that edge. It can burn you, and it almost did, but that, I think, is the new school mentality and how you coach
you can't change your
with
identity.
the league. It's college-like, right?
Yeah, and I think it all is. I'm sure KOC is probably looking. Of course, he's looking back at this game and like, well, he's not beating himself up for the type of play, run or pass. It's probably like, I probably could have just chose a different, safer pass play that's just going to get a couple more yards. Because in this offense and a lot of college and NFL offenses, these passing plays are as good as a run. They have a high probability of success. They feel as confident throwing the football in these situations versus running the football. And so I do agree with you. I think the mentality is we look at it as like, why are we throwing the ball and why are we doing this? Now, there's clock management parts of it. Mm-hmm. You have to think about that. But as far as the play selection, I agree with you that a lot of these pass plays, they're just as good as a run. And they can be just as effective. There's a couple series that I think that we all look back on as fans and go, oh man, that was just, we could have done that better. We had a turnover on downs late in the second quarter. And I think Byron Murphy was, he had a big PB or something on 4th down. We get the ball, we have a 3rd and 1. And then we just like pass the ball to no success.
There were a lot of that. Yeah.
And it was like, guys, this is a situation where like we can sort of like stick a little bit of a dagger in these guys in the first half. And we go 3 and out after a turnover on downs with the clock winding down in the second quarter. And then there was another series, and that's when we had the muff punt, and that's when they scored. And it's like, man, why that play selection? But again, we're getting really nitpicky because we've got
a win.
Because we've got a 4-0 team, and it's we're trying to find anything really that to maybe talk about. But overall, you got to be happy with this team and the way Muss, as you brought up, it wasn't adversity in much as that we were down. It's not like we had to come down. It's not like it was the Colts game and we had to come down from 30 points.
But the momentum was definitely switched.
But they hung on. It's sweet.
Yeah, we gave up a ton of momentum. They had it all. It seems like we could do no right and they could do everything right. And we fought through it. And, when our defense needed to step up after giving up points off of turnovers in the second half. We came back in the fourth quarter, two huge takeaways.
Yeah.
And that's what sealed it.
Byron Murphy Jr., as you got a chance to actually interview him afterwards. And, man, for a guy who got targeted throughout the day, I mean, they were picking on him. And for him to make 2 huge plays to solidify that win, I mean, good for him on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about this team is we talked about it offensively. Who are you going to guard? You know, we have multiple guys. You know, Josh Oliver is getting touchdown catches. You know, Naylor's, involved in the mix. Addison's back. Justin, you got Aaron Jones at the backfield. It's like, who are you going to guard? And I think the same thing can be said on defense. It's like, early parts of the season, Van Ginkel was defensive MVP of the league, right? He was making every splash play. And then all of a sudden it was Grenard. And then
Cashman had,
and then Cashman. And then we've got Harrison Phillips, who continues to play at a high level. And we really haven't seen much out of the secondary. And then all of a sudden, Murphy gets picked on and he comes up huge with a couple takeaways. And so it's like, pick your poison on defense. Yeah. All these guys just show up when they need to show up. And then, Gilmore had a great, pass breakup out of nowhere. I mean, it was just guys are making plays. Bynum's, always on the spot. Harrison's still the guy that's triggering the whole defense. It's like every series, somebody else is making a play.
But how much is Jets going to be fined for not pulling up his socks?
Wasn't that Coleman's job? Didn't Coleman
he was
assess that? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, since I'm going on this defensive rant here, Patrick Jones. I mean,
5 sacks.
5 sacks, in 4 games. He's being disruptive. It's not like we're just looking at the sack total. It's like we're looking at the totality of his game. And like, he's a hell of a player.
He had a beast move against the Texans where it was he was getting chipped by the back, but also the tight end. And he literally had both of them, one in each hand, and still made it back towards the quarterback. It was like, wow, this guy is a beast.
Guys, there are 3 undefeated teams in the NFL right now. One of them's only played 3 games. And the Vikings are one of them.
And the Vikings are a better team than the Chiefs.
And the Seahawks.
And the Chiefs are going to they're hurting horribly bad in the receiver group.
This is where Devontae Adams might go. I know it's within the division, but...
Boy, they wouldn't do that, would they?
I mean... They're going to have to trade for a wide receiver.
The Chiefs have the refs, so it's fine.
Yeah.
There's something to that. There you go. I don't know. But Vikings 4-0, atop the division, atop the NFC.
And by the way, Vikings Seahawks December 22nd.
In Seattle.
Always in Seattle. That's by default.
Yeah, by fault. Yeah.
That, I would think, has a good chance of getting flexed.
Is it a 325?
Yeah.
Well, 305, but yeah, you know.
I would hate that. Right, Hawk. You're like, I don't want a 7:00 kick West Coast time.
Can you imagine?
No, you'll walk right into the show.
5:30 in the morning.
You'd walk right into the show.
The nice thing is, I think it would be Sunday. You get home Sunday, and then Christmas is like right after that. So I don't know how that would work.
That's true. I guess I'd be off from Twin Cities Live. So,
how do you think about my pregame starting at 6:30 here on Sunday?
I love it. I love it.
I'll
be here. I love it.
You'll just stay up all night.
Yeah,
I probably will.
Yeah, you'll still be high.
More questions from Garage Beers.
Yeah, Garage Beers Muss will be texting in. Patrick Marshall back right after this on The Fan.
The Fan.
It's a hockey season, Wild fans. Get your tickets today for the final home preseason game where your Minnesota Wild will take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Tickets are available now at wild.com/tickets. That's wild.com/tickets.
That's right. This is Highlight and Deep Blue. And speaking of the Minnesota Wild, I loaded in a soundbite from our head coach. Where's it at? I know it's in here somewhere. Everybody be cool. Why are you guys being critical?
Nobody is.
Too. This is sweet.
Thank you. Highlight and Deep Blue. Local music on the Patrick.
Tip the bartender and please get home safe. A hug goodbye and it's on to the next place. Sometimes
All right, let's go.
Yeah, this kind of rips.
See, we got some great local bands,
this.
man. Let's roll, huh? Anyway, here's Hines on the final week of training camp as we start sports here.
Continue to build our game, and continue to implement and build layers to things that we've implemented already as far as your structure and your tactics, and probably zone in on some combinations and things like that. Get your special teams dialed in more now that you'll have a smaller group and things like that. So that's what we're looking for.
I got another Drunken Mussman text from him last night.
Man, he spends a lot of time in the garage.
He loves drinking.
He does. This one specifically about the Wild, I think, from what I can tell. And another thing.
Wow.
Ding.
The Zach said, Wild good, maybe.
Wow.
Tank, you asked about season.
Yeah, Hawk and I text and talk more than people
I think it's just one-sided.
So I'm supposed to ask Zach, from what I can tell, I need to ask Zach if it's going to be a good season for the Wild, according to Drunken Mussman.
Well, the crazy thing is that is talk to text.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but
Abbott loves that.
He loves it.
He does. He'll do it right in front of you.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Because I could never tell his tone.
Yeah, correct.
Because there's no punctuation.
No.
I wish he'd just use like the voice recorder feature and just record his voice into it. So I don't
just send it to you. Yeah.
If he's actually angry at me or not.
Quit avoiding Hawk's question.
That was
I
actually
think
Drunken Musman's question.
Good. Not
Yeah, that guy.
or good. So
Must. Jeez Louise.
Jeez Louise. She's Louise.
It's too early to tell. I think
It's over.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you want to go back to, anything could happen. The Vikings are shocking people with their start. The Wild, they got some players back that they missed. It was a really rough year last year with injuries. So Jared Spurgeon seems to be back and ready to go. Marcus Foligno joined the broadcast yesterday. Jake Middleton as well, and they both feel like this year is going to be very different. So I just got to go off of what the guys in the locker room are saying, and they say that this could be a much better year, and hopefully it will be. Hard to think it'll be much worse.
it's a long season.
Yes, 82 games. And the big thing is they have 2 home games to start the season, then 7 on the road. So that's going to be a very big test early on. We're going to know pretty quickly, I think, what kind of year we're going to get.
So does that mean, I'm guessing that everything does equal out then in the schedule? Will they have a bunch of later home games?
Yeah, March is almost exclusively here.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's a couple of exceptions, but
Well, the state tournament.
and they like to kind of, I think, front load the road games as much as they can, and then get the home games in the later part. Once it's winter time, once people are, I think, more ready for hockey. October, fall, Minnesota, you want to maybe still go outside until we are finally.
Just in general, the
Resorting,
hockey season, will you be calling any games? Because you are really good at it, dude.
I hope so.
Must have
The
still
horn, we
drugged.
said goodbye to the horn. So, yeah,
Horny anymore?
no more horn. But hoping to still call some White Bear games, freelancing, and I think there's a chance I might
You know
be
what, I'm with
calling
you.
some college.
Freelancing.
Yeah, freelance.
He's been locked up forever.
I haven't heard back yet, but I'll let you know if I do. But
Sweet.
It's a pretty big D1
Good for you.
college
No,
game in a
you're-
couple weeks, so hopefully that works out. But if anybody's looking for hockey announcers, let me know.
Right.
Go!
Guy who will work for cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Wild question for you.
Wow.
What's the rest of the division look like?
Very good. I mean, we just had the Dallas Stars in, and they had, I don't know, I didn't recognize 98% of the roster, and they still won 4-2 last night. So yeah, I mean, it's a very tough division. You still have McKinnon and the Avs to worry about. You got, I mean, it's tough.
It's tough, guys.
But the good news is it's 32 teams are in the league. Half of them make it. So hopefully we're in the top half. And then, once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. So it's going to be tough. No doubt about it. And they all know that, and they're all very much aware of it. And the good news is we have some talent. There's a guy a Russian fella named Kirill Kaprizov.
Why is he in such a hurry?
Yeah, brilliant. Where's he going?
Man, he is quick. He is very quick.
Whoa,
so
relax.
Between him
It's
and
okay, it
Faber,
happens.
and I mean, again, the fact that if we can get a healthy blue line going with Faber, with Spurgeon, with the help on the front end, it's just this can be a gritty, hardworking team that could do some special things. I hope to see it. I can't wait till next
Another
week.
season of Faber.
Wait,
That's
like
gonna
the
be pretty
dance?
sweet.
Time for
Yes.
Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
Well, when you see Drunken Mussman again, hopefully that answered his question for him.
Okay, good.
There you go.
It'll be a while.
We
Couple
have
hours.
12 hours.
the first ever
Whoa.
3-time batting champ with 3 different teams. And that is Luis.
Oh boy.
He won it with the Padres and kept Shohei Ohtani from winning the Triple Crown. So he's won it with the Dads, the Marlins, I would assume, and the Twins.
Okay, so what? So I'm not paying attention to his contract or the situation, but why does the batting champ keep getting shuffled around?
The Marlins just gave up on him in May. Didn't they trade him early in the season, Maxo?
I think so, yeah. I think they just gave up on the season in general.
So Luis,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was May 4th.
All right. I'm sorry.
is your
Sorry.
3-time batting champ.
Sorry. Congratulations.
We have 2 football games tonight. The 0-3 Titans at the 1-2 Dolphins.
Yuck.
The Dolphins are 2.5-point favorites. The over is 37.5.
Yuck.
That's at 6:30, and then at 7:15, the 3-0 Seahawks at the Lions. The Lions are 4-point favorites, and the over/under is 46.5. And I think I saw something over the weekend that the Seahawks are down 4 defensive starters. Ooh. So it's those games will be fun. I like 2 Monday Night Football games. I know not a lot of people do, but I love 2 Monday Night Football games.
Thank God we got it this week.
Split screen it there on
Yeah.
YouTube TV. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's-
Monday night,
no,
2 Monday.
brilliant.
I'll take all the football we can get.
Yeah, pick the one you actually.
Why don't
wanna
you
watch.
like it, Ben?
I don't know. I like just Monday night being Monday night. I mean, there's just
It's the national game. That
it's just the national game. It's the tradition just to get done with your workday and you pop on Monday Night Football, and it's that's the one game everybody's watching. I don't know. I like the
agree.
tradition of
I
it.
feel where you're going. I was just looking. I'm sorry, I was distracted a moment ago. I was looking through my other texts I got from Drunken Mussman last night.
Oh no.
This is one that I think is apropos because I know what your next story is going to be.
Yeah.
Can I read it to you?
Yeah.
Standing and drinking, and cat is on mind of me.
Must.
Highlights on phone, and me says tears because goodbye.
Well, I'm only texting with one thumb, right? I got the
Cheers
beer
to-
in the other hand. It's hard
That's
to
not
do
a
that.
beer.
Cheers to Carl Towns Anthony.
Wow.
Your thoughts?
We're close, man.
This is purely for Max, but if you had a Sean Paul accent, that would be.
Brilliant.
Shut up,
Sean Paul Wales.
Who the hell's that?
Who Sean Paul doesn't even have a Sean Paul accent.
No.
That was like finding out wrestling is fake. Like, what?
That's not real? No, I'm serious.
No, it's not real. He doesn't have a real accent. Sean Paul.
Sean
Sean
Paul
Paul.
Wales.
Just like Miss Cleo.
Sean Paul.
Do we
Woodhawk.
know any real Jamaicans?
Some I give it to.
Miss Cleo Woodhawk.
Absolutely. I mean, she can tell the future. She's got a crystal ball.
He is into
Hawks
that.
got crystal balls.
Yeah, I do. I like them. Answer Drunken Mussman's question.
So yesterday, a bunch of these tweets came out that the I don't know why my face is so stuffed up. Hang on a second.
Doing Hawk.
Happening. Is somebody eating a bag of chips? What
Yeah,
is
he is, and he's doing it loudly into the microphone. Come on, are you eating?
I'm eating some chips. I'm
And
sorry.
is that from the airplane?
No, I got them from Libya. They're.
Oh yeah, they're like your
You're like
little
that-
healthy.
You're like that guy in
sorry.
the movie theater.
He's
You're
up there
just
going-
like, how loud are you going to be?
I'm going to be exactly as loud as he is going.
It's a very immersive experience
I know,
on the
and now
Power
he's
Trip this
back.
morning.
He had to clean out his blowhole. Here we go.
I like this sort of ASMR thing that we're doing.
Okay, good. Are you good now?
I don't know.
Yeah, turn your mic on.
Maybe.
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 I think we should just go break.
So the thing with the Carl Anthony Towns or Carl Towns Anthony, according to Drunk Muss.
Yeah.
Basically, New York is over the first apron, so they cannot take back more money in a trade and will need to send out an additional $8.8 million in salary.
Wait a minute. So it's not officially done yet?
No.
Okay, tell me. Hold on. We got to go to break. Tell me more about that when we come back, because now I'm confused. It's not a done deal.
No, it is not.
It's
not
agreed
yet.
to in principle.
It's not a done deal, though. So, Media Day starts today. So, there will be no Cat in New York, and there will be no Julius Randle or Dante DiVincenzo in Minnesota.
DiVincenzo.
And Luis.
This is Frovic and Farewell. It's local music on the Power Trip. We'll talk more about the Big Cat and the Timberwolves and much more. Right after this, Power Trip Boys on the Fan. All right. Welcome back, Power Trip Morning Show, 744. Here we are. And, 740 is when we do.
It's time for Vikings news on the Power Trip, presented by
Radco. Thank you, Radco. And we will go around the room and talk to Ben and ask him our questions about the Minnesota Vikings. And don't forget, a little bit later in the show as well, we'll go through the entire NFL because we are officially 4 weeks into the season, and there's some things happening that I find fascinating, like just how bad the Jaguars are. Interesting to me.
Man.
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, to me, it's not a big surprise. I don't know what they're doing putting so much investment in Trevor Lawrence. Let's go around the room. Has Trevor Lawrence done anything?
No.
In the league?
No.
He's lost his last 9 starts.
That's really bad.
Even the thing is, like, even when he plays, even when they win, it's not like he looks like a franchise quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
It's so baffling that they've invested money in this guy. I'm like,
But they also put him in some bad spots, too. I mean, there's some play calls where you're like, what are they doing? You're going to have him run up the middle when you're sitting in the red zone?
I don't know, man.
And, I mean, it was a terrible drawn-up play.
What?
I don't know. They've got to just, unfortunately, I think they've hitched their wagon to the wrong guy.
Right.
And I think Doug Peterson is a great coach. I think he's in a bad situation, and he's probably going to get fired.
We have hitched our wagon to the right guy, and Sam Darnold, it appears, and he was real pleased that KOC stayed so aggressive yesterday.
You got to have that mindset. You can't think about what might happen or what has happened. Them coming back. You always got to continue to have that mindset of just one step in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other. And as long as we continue to have that mindset as an offense, as a whole team, I feel like we'll be all right.
One of the things he was very aggressive on was going for it on 4th and 1 late in the game, and KOC talked about it.
The field goal takes you to 12. I just want our guys to understand that I believe in them. We didn't overly have a lot of success on those short yardage situations today. Thought we had a chance to maybe getting them to pack in there a little bit and see if we could get a yard and a half, whatever it was. They made a play. But I want our guys to know I'm going to be aggressive.
Yeah. Does it matter as a player that your coach believes in you like that, Ben?
I mean, I think it matters.
I just think it was a bad decision.
But at the same time, I don't know. Like, if I'm a player, I'm also thinking, look, man, we can do math too. It's like if you kick a field goal, you're going up you have to put the ball in the end zone twice. It's not just an end zone shot and then onside recovery and then a field goal. It's like the probability of all of that happening, you really, really, tilt it in your favor when you just kick the field goal. I understand aggressiveness, and look, I'm not the one to say where that line is. I'm not the head coach, but it's like there's a line where there's the smart play that puts this game really out of hand.
Yes.
And that's, to me, that's kicking the field goal. There also, you can say the same logic and say, well, it's 1 yard, then we put this game out of hand.
Which we already had a couple of tries at that 1 yard. So that becomes the issue there where you're like, okay, we're not getting the push. It's a possibility. This just is not going to happen, and that's how they do the sweep and try to get out on the boundary, get outside. And because they're like, there's no way we can run this up the middle. That's what the mentality was at that particular time. It would show. But the thing is that you go up 12, you win the game. 0 points almost got you to the point of we're in pucker time,
right?
It's the right No, the move is running the ball and getting the first down. That was the right play.
Well, if you would have done that on the third down,
but no, because it ends the game.
The game already been ended if you kick the field goal.
No,
they can't come back from 12.
The game's over and you don't give them the opportunity. That's what I would assume Corey would say if he was sitting here.
Oh, of course Corey would say.
But I think that's the right move. You end the game. Correct. It's over. That's the right move.
I think you put the nail in the coffin when you kick that field goal and you're up 12.
He also got the first down. It was a terrible spot.
That spot was bad.
But they're out of challenges because they had to challenge everything because of some of the weird calls the refs made. You end the game. You have to be able to get a yard.
You make that first down.
Yeah,
it's
the
over.
game's over.
Right.
It's over.
Still think if you kick that field goal, the game's over.
I think the only reason we kept running the ball is they wanted Aaron Jones to get a touchdown. And I think the running the ball is the right play. You end the game.
I have a tough time with that. I mean, I know it's an old school thought and the whole thing with the analytics and blah, 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 blah. But you kick that field goal, you basically are telling you're telling the Packers, okay, go ahead. You're going to have to get 2 scores.
But you're
going to have to. Way,
sure, but you also though have to keep the other thing is recovering an onside kick in the NFL is almost impossible.
Right, but the 2 scores that you're talking about, Zacho, that would be a touchdown and then a field goal. Or, I mean, I'm talking, you have to score 2 touchdowns to actually...
In 2 minutes.
Yes.
I would say even a touchdown and a field goal in 2 minutes is extraordinarily difficult.
Right. That's your
Plus,
dagger.
by the way, and we should also note, they had to start at the 5-yard line, the 4-yard line.
3, yeah.
So that's another thing too. That's at the 20, obviously, kick the field goal, but you have to force them to drive all the way down the field, get an onside kick, and then do that all in 2 minutes.
Talk some sense.
They didn't set up that defense, though, very well for stopping that. My God, a 42-yard reception? Are you kidding me?
Tell us the truth. Come on, Ben. Give it to us.
No, I don't have the truth. I think it's a fun debate. I know a lot of fans are probably talking about with their friends and family and all that stuff even today as you break down this game and you look at it like, I think that there's a large amount of people that would have just kicked a field goal and essentially, in my mind, you seal the game with the field goal. You seal the game by going for a 1-yard first down pickup. And I think it is such a debatable thing because you can say, as Sauce and Zach have said, it's 1 yard.
1 yard.
It's 1 yard,
Yeah,
and it's 1 yard. And Zach, you're 100% correct. You are just yards away from scoring another touchdown. It's 1 yard where the location where you are on the field, you win the game. But I'm also with Muss. Like if you're playing, I don't know. I mean, logically at the same time, essentially a touchdown, onside kick recovery, touchdown is almost impossible with that amount of time left.
Right. Yeah.
So you're doing the same thing.
Field goals can go wrong. There's no question there. I mean, you could have missed a field goal, could have got blocked or whatever. Right. That's a probability as well.
Same thing though. You run to the outside on the edge. You could easily fumble the football, and we didn't pick it up. So it's like things can go wrong too. So I guess I'm fine with it either way. I think there's a belief in your team either way. You kick a field goal, you go up by two touchdowns. You put in belief in your defense that they're going to get stops. You go for it on 4th and 1. You put in belief in your offense that like, hey, I believe that you guys can pick up this first down and seal the victory. Either way, I think you're showing confidence in your team.
But I think by going for it, you're almost showing confidence in both your offense and your defense because you're saying, hey, I trust you to go out and get that 1 yard. But if you don't get it, I'm also trusting the defense to hang on. When you kick the field goal, it's like, no, you're just kind of pushing that off. And
it's only sexy if you take a field goal that's like from 58 out. Then
that's hot. That's the highest thing I've ever seen.
Obviously, the press asked a follow-up question, and KFC talked more about going for it on 4th and 1.
Do you want to make them have to score 2 touchdowns? Which looking back on it, I'm sure people will wonder, why that decision happens. But once again, I can't really make those decisions based upon the what could happen type thing. I'm going to be aggressive and always smart, and I thought we had a chance to convert with the play that I called. They made a play and stopped us, and knowing that they would then have to go 97 yards. Credit them, though. They were able to do it pretty quickly.
There you go. So
yeah,
boom.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah. I think both. I think there's not a right answer in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, both answers can be correct. You kick the field goal, probability is very low. I mean, I'm sure if Corey's here, he had some sort of fancy website where you could type all that's the game scenarios in. I'm sure Charge can do the same thing. The win probability for both, I mean, are extremely low for the Packers, in both scenarios.
And again, the best part is that we're nitpicking or knick-knacking, as Jets called it. So knick-knacking, what are they? They're putting precious moments up in your house. No, but we're picking away at this thing, and it's a win.
Yeah.
You're 4-0. You won the game 31-29, and we're still finding stuff to bitch about.
Yep. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's what makes football great.
No doubt about it. It's fun.
Ben, can I ask you a non-Vikings question?
Sure.
Do you think behind closed doors the Bears are pissed they didn't take Jaden Daniels?
Yeah.
He leads the league with an 82.1 completion percentage.
82.1.
Would he lead the league if he were on the Bears?
Maybe not, but I think they'd be more successful.
I think the Bears are a better roster.
I think the Bears are a better roster. I think they're a better defense.
Yeah.
McLaurin's really happy.
Yeah.
I think the Bears organization absolutely, as of right now, wish they would have selected Jaden.
Yeah.
And I think that's the right move. I've been told, I don't know if I said this before with you guys or not, but I've been told that there are a lot of people in that organization that are just sort of tired of Caleb's attitude.
Already? Jeez.
Mm-hmm. As in, like, not a good guy, or
he's just a diva.
No kidding.
Well, he kind of came in with it.
Yeah.
Played
and
for
I
USC,
think,
and he was already kind of that NIL douchebag then.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you if you're a diva and you can produce, it just goes, all right, you've just got this like superstar mentality. You're a diva and you don't produce, people get tired of you real quick.
Because in 2009, Favre was a diva, but you guys won.
I don't know.
You don't think he was a diva?
Not at all.
All right.
No, he wouldn't.
I never heard that from anybody.
Oh, you want to call him a diva? How dare you say that about Brett?
He came in with that reputation.
Yeah.
When we for basically the better half of a year and a half, when we were told to sort of intimated that we were trying to get Favre directly from the Packers. It's the same sort of thing. I don't know what it is, like the same sort of thing, like politically. Like if you like somebody, they're just going to dig up dirt on you or something. Like they're going to talk about one story where they're like, oh my gosh, he was such an a-hole and blah blah. It's all character assassination for some reason. When he was coming from the Jets, all we heard from like media and whatever is like, oh man, he's such a diva and he's got his own locker and he doesn't associate himself with a team. He thinks he's this and he thinks he's that. And you just don't know what to believe. And then you talk to some of the guys on the Packers and they're like, no, he's great. Like, I don't understand what, he was not like that at all. And then he walks in the locker room and he was not like that at all. He was gracious and fun and gregarious and magnetic and funny, and I don't know. I thought he was one of the best teammates I've ever had. He was. I didn't see any diva to him.
Well,
Love it.
I rest my case.
You don't know what that means.
Should handcuff it and arrest it.
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
You should arrest your dirty H.
Wow.
But speaking of the Bears, though, I mean they're surviving because of their defense. Their defense is awfully good. And you look at the game yesterday. I think their leading receiver was their running back. I mean, that's to your point, Sauce, about Caleb and what he's doing. Like, I didn't watch the game, but it just seems like when you're leading receiver, when you've got those stud receivers on your team,
three of them,
you have three studs on your team, and your leading receiver is your running back and Swift. Like, something's broken with that offense.
I watched a little bit of it because they were on red zone a bunch. He overthrows a lot of receivers. Like, not like, maybe a little bit too far to the right or left, like overthrows it like into the crowd bad.
He's not, I don't think he's an easy player to watch because I think he's so unpredictable for everybody, and coaches included. I don't think they even know where the ball's going to go, even though they're calling the plays.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, man, the power of Hard Knocks, right? I thought he was going to be the greatest quarterback that ever lived. And this team was going to be fantastic.
He was an ex-Patrick Mahomes.
Man, I would tell you, They do such a great job of editing on that show. You can't help but become a fan of whatever team is on that show.
Well, I mean, the very first scene where he's walking on the field, they played the Chicago Bulls entrance song like he's Michael Jordan coming out.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done anything. Nothing. I mean, it's good for them. They're excited. He's a number 1 overall pick, and they feel like if you have trust in the organization, like this is our savior. This is the guy that's actually going to, end this futility that we've had at quarterback for decades.
They've never had a 4,000-yard quarterback.
And he is falling way short of his expectation and potential.
He has 787 yards and 4 picks.
But just looks lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. And Justin Fields, playing okay for the Steelers. They lost yesterday.
He plays
right?
well, yeah.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Factory Morning Show, 7:59. We got we'll talk about the Twins and the Timberwolves and the Cat and maybe some stuff outside of sports as well. Plus, we'll go around the league and look at the other scores and who's leading the division doing what. Lots to talk about sports-wise on a Monday. It's Factory Morning Show on the Fan. We'll be right back. By the way, Briggsy and Grace.